Okay, 80 days until the most consequential birthday slash election in my lifetime. Obviously, as you know, November 8th is my birthday. And again, the hashtag shut up and live in Delaware is starting to trend for me. And everybody knows that the Wicked Witch wins. That's the way it looks right now. So until that time frame, I'm going to try to do these videos to try to convince the people of Queens County that you have a choice to make on my birthday. If you want me to stay in Queens, you really have a choice. Alright, but if you're going to vote for the Wicked Witch just to get me out, then you might win. You might win. So till that time frame, I have 80 days to convince a lot of you to vote wisely, vote carefully, because I'm going to go on the record and state that if the early voting is available at St. John's, then I'm going to definitely do it, because I don't want to vote on my birthday. I want to enjoy my birthday. Alright? You know, I'm going to be 27. I'm getting older. Alright? And there's going to be a point in November where I may have to, digress these videos. Because there's a real chance after my birthday that I'm going to have to tone it down and possibly start looking for houses in Wilmington, because this is just becoming a bit too much already. Alright, so until then, let's talk about the stories that may convince you to vote for Lee Zeldin. And if they don't, then, alright, you won. You won, Wicked Witch. And I'm going to have to go into the many reasons why after that. So, till then, let's stay on topic. Because I am just so annoyed with the media when it comes to ignoring, especially Channel 1 as usual. I'm going to call them out at the end. But I digress. We've had so many hit-and-run incidents in Queens that have just been, getting ignored. It's just awful. So, let's get into this one. Let's get into this story first. 3 people injured after an alleged drunk driver critically injures 3 people in Queens, alright? The driver was arrested, but again, I'm hoping that people will start to wake up and realize that there is a good chance that you may force a lot of your fellow New Yorkers out of the state. It's not just me. It's not just me, alright? And again, I'm going to go into it should Kathy Hochul win. But we're not at that time yet. It's not my birthday. So, I digress. Let's get to the story in hand. Police in Queens arrested an alleged drunk driver accused of mowing down and critically injuring 3 pedestrians early this morning. Law enforcement sources said the horrific collision happened at 4:19 this morning at the corner of 86th Street and Northern Boulevard in Jackson Heights. And by the way, this is why I have to keep my alarm on to 10:10 wins even on the weekends, because they actually did let off with it this morning. So here's what we know. A 23-year-old man struck 3 pedestrians while behind the wheel of a red BMW traveling westbound along Northern Boulevard. This is what we know. 3 men aged 25, 28, and 32 were crossing Northern Boulevard at the time. So, this is what we know. The 115 did respond. We also have confirmation that FDNY EMS did respond to this incident. We do know that all men were taken to NYC Health Elmhurst Hospital Trauma Center, where at this hour, at this noontime hour, all of the 3 men remain in critical condition. The driver, however, did remain on the scene. And of course, the 115 did make an arrest. And obviously, a DWI is not a Class A. I know that for a fact. So, all I know is that now Melinda Katz is going to have another mess to deal with. And we do have the collision investigation squad still looking into this incident. So, just very, very unfortunate that this happened this morning. Okay. So, I just want to make sure that we have a lot that happened here. So, look at this. This happened on, happened on Tuesday. Look at that. So, I'm way behind on, on some of these stories. Okay, so here's what happened in Elmhurst, because we actually have 2 more incidents that happened in Elmhurst. I mean, what is going on with all these hit-and-run incidents in Elmhurst? I mean, are people just driving like maniacs these days? You know, that's just why, again, I can't have a car in New York. It's too stressful. All right, hopefully drivers in Delaware are much more considerate behind the wheel. I'm hoping that. All right, so here's what we know. A 44-year-old man was struck and killed back on Tuesday, August 16th. This is what we know. This happened at Roosevelt Avenue and 77th Street in Elmhurst just before 2 a.m. The car did not stop. Victim was taken to Elmhurst Hospital. This was a hit-and-run incident. Gray Honda 2-door sedan fled the scene. So they did have a reporter on Tuesday morning, it looks like. So that's Derek Waller. I know him very well. All right, and then this happened last night. Hit and run left a man from Queens fighting for his life. This is what we know. And I know this intersection very well. It's right by the subway station. So this is what we know. 63-year-old was in the crosswalk crossing Broadway at the intersection within 64th Street in the Elmhurst Woodside area just before 11 p.m. last night. So it says here that officers found him unconscious lying in the roadway with head trauma. The man was taken to Elmhurst. So we do know a light colored vehicle then took off. So very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I mean, all these hit and runs are just happening for no apparent reason. And this is the same vicinity. I mean, look what's going on in Elmhurst. Look what's going on in this area. I mean, again, people are just driving like maniacs. Oh, you want to talk about even crazier? 2 ATV riders lose their lives after colliding with a semi. So, let's read this. Law enforcement sources said the victims, both in their 30s, smacked into a side of a semi-tractor trailer near the corner of Jackson Avenue and Queens Plaza at around 1:49 a.m. yesterday morning. 2 ATV riders, mind you. So this is what we know. According to Channel 7, it's believed that the ATV riders were traveling the wrong way through the area and then collided with the truck. Police sources, however, could not immediately confirm that detail, nor they can confirm whether the ATV riders wore helmets. So, here's what we know after that. Officers on the 108 did respond. And, okay, this doesn't make any sense. The other man was taken to Booth Memorial Medical in Flushing. Oh, okay, yeah, because they have a trauma center. Right, I used to work at that hospital. Makes sense. Police have yet to release their identities pending family notification. So, it looks like the truck driver did stay on the scene. Yep, and of course, we know about ATVs. We know about ATVs. Okay, so let's just focus on the news in Queens, because, again, there is just a lot going on. So, there is some good news. I want to mention, so I don't really want to spend too much time on it. According to Channel 7, 3 suspects have been arrested in connection to the assault of the taxi driver last weekend in Edgemere. 2 male suspects, as you're currently seeing on the screen, and a female whose picture has not been released yet, are going to be arraigned by a judge in Kew Gardens. And of course, the prosecutor will be the Queens County District Attorney Melinda Katz. So, obviously, you know she's going to have a lot to say. you know she's going to have a lot to say. So let's take a look to see if she has anything on her website. Yep, usually when the Queens Courier has an article like that, you have to refer to the press office of the Queens County District Attorney. So thank you, Melinda Katz. See, she has a much better website than Alvin Bragg does. All right. So let's read this. Yesterday, two suspects, Austin Amos and Nicholas Porter, have been charged with gang assault and manslaughter in connection to the taxi driver that was assaulted last Saturday, August 13th. So we do know that the defendants are accused of repeatedly punching and kicking the taxi driver after he confronted them for an unpaid fare. So, two juvenile females, one still unapprehended. So wait a minute, I thought Channel 7 said that one female was apprehended. That's odd. So, this is what the Queens DA said in court yesterday. As alleged, the two defendants were two juveniles fatally assaulted a taxi cab driver after he confronted them for fare evasion. An entire family is now grieving the tragic and senseless loss of the loved one because of this apprehended behavior. So, yes, so we do know they are facing a long prison sentence. Amos of Beach 56 Place in Irvine is pending arraignment in Queens Criminal Court on a 6-count complaint charging him with gang assault in the first and second degree, manslaughter in the first and second, assault in the second degree, and theft of services. Okay, good. So a gang assault, it's definitely not bail eligible. Even I know that. Amos faces up to 25 years in prison if convicted. Porter of Hossack Street in Far Rockaway is pending arraignment in Queens Criminal Court. Charges of gang assault in the second degree and theft of services. So we do know what happened. I'm not going to read any more. So, thank you, Melinda Katz. See what I mean? We have a DA who gets involved in cases in Queens. Now, if this was Manhattan, you know Alvin Bragg would just put this off. You know he would. You know he would. That's why I got to watch my back out in Manhattan. Because I have to worry about a DA that's going to let the criminals run free. Right? Then look at this. 4 years in prison, an EMT allegedly stealing. I mean, that's crazy enough, but yeah, I don't really want to read as much, so I want to read this. So I want to organize these stories. We know what we're reading. And then I gotta show you something from Laura Wool's page, because I'm just disturbed what I had to read. There was a shooting by the YMCA on Hillside Avenue yesterday. So, first of all, regarding this story, I want to thank Charlton DeSouza from Passengers United for making me aware of this. And thankfully, this is on the Queens Courier's page, of course. So, again, listen, folks. I have no news from Manhattan to report right now. All right, everything's going on in Queens, and please just respect my wishes. I really do not want to cover the news in Brooklyn or the Bronx anymore because it's just, again, I have to focus on the areas that I frequent more a lot. Long Island, Pine Power is not going to be doing that anymore, but I have to focus on Manhattan and Queens. And I have to, because those are the areas that I frequent a lot. Okay, here we go. This is what we know that happened back on Wednesday. Police from the 112 and Transit District 20 are looking for a man who approached a 26-year-old victim as he was waiting for a train and allegedly slashed him multiple times in the face, arm, and back with a knife and forcibly took a cell phone before exiting the subway station and running off in an unknown direction. So, we do know that the victim was taken to MIC Health Jamaica Hospital in stable condition. So, thankfully, the surveillance cameras were working at the time at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. So, we do believe that the victim was trying to ride the F train. So, I mean, again, you gotta really watch your back out, man. I mean, it's crazy. So this is making me have second thoughts about using Kew Gardens now. It really, really is. I mean, it's just it's getting crazy out there. Again, this is a war zone we're dealing with. So, next up, we're going to read a couple stories about robberies, and then we're going to read about a fire in Corona. And then we're going to take a look and read Laura Uhl's report on what happened in Belrose yesterday. So here we go. $5,000 worth of jewelry from a woman in Queensboro Hill stolen. Here we go. This happened back on Tuesday, August 16th. So here we go. Just after 9 p.m., the 51-year-old victim had arranged to meet the two suspects to sell jewelry on Popoli Avenue in the confines of the 109 precinct in Flushing. The meet turned violent when one of the suspects flashed a firearm and forcibly removed jewelry and over $5,000 before fleeing westbound on Popoli Avenue on foot. No injuries were reported, so that's at least the good news. But again, you know, I will say this, the 109 does take these very seriously. You know, I will mention that Councilwoman Palladino was very close with them. So, recently I found out from Vicky that they actually did make a gun bust. Yeah, so they're actually being more proactive in that precinct. Okay, then we gotta get to this last one here. So this was in the 105. Now, I did tell Charlton about this a couple days ago. And believe it or not, Kristen Thorne from Channel 7 actually did a good report about this. So, thank you to Kristen Thorne, because now she's actually became the lead investigative reporter for WABC TV recently. Alright, so here's what we know. Oh, look at this! The suspect's also being alleged to steal in the confines of Nassau County. Look at that. So you got the NCPD also investigating this. Okay, here's what we know. An unidentified man entered 5 different residential homes in 3 different neighborhoods within the confines of the NYPD's 105th precinct from July 24th to August 17th. So, this is very lengthy. This is very, very lengthy. I'm going to read the most recent one. Let me read the most recent one first. Here we go. So here we go. This was recently in Long Island. Authorities say the suspect broke a window to enter the home back on Wednesday, August 17th in front of Langdale Street and 79th Avenue at about 6:30 p.m. and once inside he nabbed an undetermined amount of cash, approximately $30,000 worth of jewelry and a Louis Vuitton pocket bag worth approximately $8,000 before fleeing the scene. So this is how I'm going to organize it. Please respect my wishes because I wanted to at least read the most recent one that happened. So let's do a timeline here. Let's go back before Wednesday. So here's what we know. The first incident happened on Sunday, July 24th. The suspect entered a home near 258th Street and 83rd Street in Glen Oaks. Authorities say after the man entered through the backyard and removed a basement window, he was confronted by the owner of the residence. The suspect did flee the scene without taking any merchandise. Then about an hour later, the suspect went to Queens Village, 220th Street and 92nd Avenue. The suspect gained access through a window on the first floor. Once inside, the thief snatched an undetermined amount of cash and approximately $3,000 worth of jewelry. Then, on July 29th, police say he entered a residential home in the vicinity of 258th Street and 81st Avenue in Glen Oaks. So this is interesting. Most of these incidents happened right by the old Gersh Academy building. I'm going to say this again. Thank goodness Mr. Gersh moved out of Glen Oaks when he did. Because moving the school to West Hempstead basically saved the school. It basically did. So, in terms of this incident, at 258th and 81st, the suspect broke down the side door. Once inside, he grabbed an undetermined amount of cash and fled the scene. Then, before the August 17th incident, look at this. Another home in Glen Oaks. 263rd Street and 80th Avenue. The thief made off with unknown items. I mean, really, you cannot make this stuff up. All I'm just going to say is thank goodness this didn't happen anywhere near 76th Avenue. Now, of course, why am I mentioning 76th Avenue? Oh, well, that's the avenue that's right by Long Island Jewish Hospital. So, yeah, trust me, bud. Good luck trying to get in the hospital because now we know who you are. Now we know who you are. Trust me. Trust me. You know, I am now gonna, if I see my normal security guard on Tuesday, over the weekend, I'm gonna try to print this article and give it to him and let the head of security know what's going on because this guy's got to get caught. This guy's got to get caught. And if he's on the campus of LIJ, trust me, I know security very well. They can dispatch the 105. They can easily dispatch the 105. So let's give a suspect description because I want this guy caught. I want this guy caught. And if he's on the campus of LIJ, believe me, I'm calling security. I said, you're lucky I know my security guard very well who does the morning shifts because I'm going to let them know. He can't be walking on campus. He's wanted, how many burglaries is he wanted for now? Let me count the number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burglaries. And 1 in the confines of Nassau County. Okay, let's give you a suspect description. So here's what we know. Police say the suspect has a light-skinned complexion and was last seen wearing a white and blue t-shirt, dark pants, multicolored sneakers, dark hat, white face mask, eyeglasses, and seen carrying a pack of waters. Okay, this is interesting. Apparently, the Nassau County Police were able to send over surveillance video to the Crime Stoppers. Let's see. I want to see how tall this guy is. He probably looks like he's 5 foot something. I could definitely make a height. Because trust me, this guy walks on campus at LIJ. Trust me. We're holding him in security office till the 105 comes. Because he's not gonna get away with it. He's not. Alright? Not in my watch. No. And Melinda Katz, you know, this is your job. You know, you were able to sentence a suspect who walked onto the campus of Long Island Jewish with a gun in the past couple of months. Right? The people of Queens County are relying on you to do something about this. Alright? And this guy, again, he's going to be given a lengthy sentence because you don't mess with Melinda Katz. You don't. Yeah, so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to save this article because, you know, word has to get out. I mean, security in Norfolk is very close with the 105 precinct. Okay, so let's get to our last story from the Courier. Now, this incident in Corona actually impacted service on the 7 train. Here we go. This happened on Wednesday. Roosevelt Avenue was closed off as 33 units from the FDNY were embarked onto the elevated 7 train platform. 138 firefighters battled a fire that broke out at a 99-cent store and a laundromat just after 5:30 on Wednesday, August 17th. Okay, so at least the good news is the 7 was not suspended. I know it was delayed. And thankfully the Mets were not at home. They were in Atlanta when this happened. So here's what we know. The rear of the building at 111 that showed 6 Roosevelt, 4 hose lines to knock down the main body of fire, which was placed under control at 6:55 p.m. Searches of the... Oh boy, another typo. Okay. There was 1 firefighter who had serious injuries, 2 other had minor, and 1 civilian had minor. All 4 were taken to NYC Health Elmhurst. Okay. So again, very, very unfortunate. You know, I mean, this is what goes on. Multiple shots fired. Queens Village by Winchester Boulevard near the YMCA in Hillside. This was a drive-by shots by fired incident. So let's do a quick check of Channel 1. Because again, I have to obviously, you know, call them out. They have to be called out as usual. Runners train for marathon. Okay, we have the marathon in Central Park coming up. Okay, but again, where's the hit and run in Elmhurst? Nowhere to be found, of course. So it's, you know, well, at least they did talk about the slugger in the Bronx. But again, I don't have the patience to talk about it anymore. All right, I have to focus on Queens. I have to at least talk about this stuff. Because again, you know, Queens can easily flip. All right, people are getting sick of this crime already. And especially in Glen Oaks. I mean, we have a lot of registered Democrats who may flip to Republican this year. Just because of what's going on. And you know, again, I have to try to educate as many people as I can. Alright? Because these Class A felonies are not being prosecuted anymore. They're not. A lot of police officers don't realize it anymore. Especially these new cops that, you know, come out of training. They obviously are first being put out there. They're graduating from the police academy, and they don't realize that when they make an arrest, they don't realize the Class A's now get off the hook. So, it's a very scary thought. Very, very scary thought. And, you know, we have to really be careful what we're doing now. Alright? We have to watch our backs. It's only a matter of time before again hashtag shut up, go live in Delaware becomes a thing, because it's looking and more and more inevitable. See, look at that. Look at that. Sullivan actually gained 2 points. Okay, here we go. So it's getting there, folks. I mean, Kathy Hochul's lead has dropped by 2 points. 2 points. In most recent polls. And if it doesn't tell you that when school reopens, if we have children shot, let's pray it doesn't happen. If we see children shot, if we see juveniles doing stupid things after school, if we see, you know, a lot more crime that is not being prosecuted as a Class A anymore, then her numbers are going to continue to go down. Her numbers will easily continue to go down. I mean, back in April, Hochul was up 12 points, 15. That's why we got to keep an eye on this. And if we don't, then it's not looking good for Lee Zeldin. And again, could look like I'm in Delaware. I don't want to move to Delaware. But it's looking like each and every day, the way corruption works in New York, And again, there's going to really have to be serious programming changes coming to this channel in November. So, be prepared for it, because you don't want me being the one saying I told you so. So that's it.